Right, so welcome to the newspaper review on New Day, and my guest and I were having a conversation of a funny one, that's why I'm... But quickly to the newspapers, and Daily Graphic says, allowances said Tekwe. Also, the Daily Guide newspaper says, Alote Jacobs dragged to FBI over USA trip. Cure public sector laxity. And talks about this public sector's inability sometimes to recover its debt. The electricity company of Ghana, for instance, was mentioned in this report that Ghanaians owe more than 1.6 million cedis and they haven't been able to recover that. And that was revealed at the Public Accounts Committee. Ghana buys 180 megawatts from Ivory Coast to tackle doomsday. That's a finder. And my final paper for the morning is Ghanaian Times says, Krofrom brutality, police youth clash. Krofrom brutality, police youth clash. So those are the biggest stories that we have this morning. Let me introduce my guest to you this morning. My extreme right, we have the women's organizer, New Patriotic Party, Madam Otiko Afisa Jabba. Good morning to you and welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to have you join us.
Thank you.
All right,
good
then.
morning to you as well.
All right, then. Next to him is the CEO of City FM, Mr. Samuel Atat-Mensah. Samuel, good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Right, and Deputy Minister, Land and Natural Resources, Barbara Sewa Asamoah. Barbara, good morning and welcome to the show. Good to have you join us as well. All right, we'll start off with the Krofrom brutality, police youth clash, and there's a story that is also on our website that the alleged beating, of a young man who died in police custody. The autopsy report came out and said that he died of a heart attack, and the people are incensed. First of all, what do you make of their reaction, their reaction, and the autopsy reports? We'll talk about it.
All right. Good morning to your viewers as well. When somebody dies, it's a very painful experience for anybody. Imagine if it's your son who has died. That's what always comes to my mind immediately. So the police are supposed to protect us. You have to find out why the police who are supposed to protect us are being accused of the ones who have actually had a hand in this murder. And so his friends and family would of course be peeved. The investigation, how is it going? Is it transparent enough? If somebody is going to the toilet, from what I read, and then he's mistakenly taken as an armed robber, and you apprehend him, and from the reports, his head hits a metal piece in the police vehicle, and from the way the body was, it cannot just be what the police are telling us. And so his friends and family have come out to protest. And in coming out to protest, then they are being sprayed with tear gas and what have you. What are we doing to ourselves? I believe that this country is a community of Ghanaians. And a law enforcer is paid by our taxes. And so that outfit must be accountable to us.
But you don't go on rampage destroying things because you paid them or taxes.
There is no excuse for going on rampage. But what provoked it? You must speak the truth about somebody's death. And if people feel strongly that there is some shady dealing, a soul has been lost.
Doubt the report, the autopsy report? Do you doubt the integrity of the Confounded Teaching Hospital, those who did the autopsy?
I cannot speak to it. I haven't actually read the report. But what the people are saying is that from the facts and the body and all that, it's not possible. Whatever happened in that autopsy report about him having a heart attack is a result from the beating that he received. That is what they are saying. And that is not captured in the report. And so that is why they are so angry. And I would be angry if my son went out to a toilet and then I'm told that he's dead so brutally. I would be very, 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 very disturbed. And I would want to know why. And the person who caused it must be held accountable. Okay. The police must not also take the law into their hands.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Summers, for you as well, when you heard their reaction, what did you make of it? And then you can touch a bit on, practically questioning the integrity of persons who conducted the autopsy?
Okay, thank you. I think it was a natural response to the autopsy report. We preempted it that, look, if the autopsy is published and it doesn't suit the expectations of the people, they are going to go on the streets, and indeed they are on the streets. You know, whatever the medical description of a heart attack is, I mean, I don't know. You know, blocking oxygen from getting to the heart through any means. I think beyond the autopsy, we should look at the gentleman's medical history.
Okay.
Autopsy by itself doesn't tell the whole story. It will give you the circumstance of death. But heart attacks don't just happen. They don't just happen. You are going on the heart attack. There must have been some things, and not excluding the beating and stress and harassment, not excluding.
Okay.
So it could be anything. But that aside, whether the autopsy report links it to the beating or not is inconsequential for me. The act of beating a helpless citizen, for me, is the problem. Yours is to arrest. This old mentality of beating
Police
people
force
to submission, I think that it went away with the revolution. And we shouldn't get ourselves... You see, I'll tell you a quick story. I went to primary school, boarding school, and I remember a young man then in Akimodan Hector. He was very hungry, so he asked a senior that, give me Gary and slap me. As stupid as that. So the senior gave him Gary. The moment the guy slapped him, one tooth came out. And the senior was dismissed. And then somebody said, oh, his tooth was already aching. So you see what you've caused. An aching tooth, wobbly tooth, you just give him a slap and the thing comes out. The man may have been walking there with a problem already. And then you go and beat the man dies.
Okay.
You are still responsible for it. Whether the whatever autopsy says no or yes, you beat him. Did you or you did not? And I think that's what we are condemning. This police beating people.
Brutality.
Okay, that part, but you have confidence in the also. Like you said, it's just to establish the cause of death.
But if Konfanochi Teaching Hospital says that is it, then I believe it 100%.
Okay, all right.
I mean, why should I not believe it?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. For you as well, was it a natural, reaction for some? Yes, it was a natural reaction, but DCO Kofi says he will not. It will be the last time that they will do a thing like that. And he will not tolerate that. And in fact, he said it's even laughable for anybody to suggest that they will connive with Konfanochi to manipulate the results.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to that extent to think that the police will connive. If the police want to do something to cover their own people, I don't think that the doctors in Konfanochi is one of our reputable hospitals in Ghana. I don't think that the doctors will necessarily connive with the police to shield anybody. But like we are all saying, on Friday when the incident happened, I was in Kumasi.
Okay.
And I was listening to different types of eyewitness accounts and so on and so forth. And I knew that this was going to happen in one way or the other. Why am I saying that? Like we have said, this is a young man who was not armed. And looking at the way the family were, and even people who knew him were describing him, he's never been a violent person. So naturally, if he is even approached by the police in a certain manner, especially when he doesn't even know what has happened. He's in the lavatory and then he hears noise. He doesn't even know it has not anything to do with him. He comes out and then he's arrested. And then it doesn't end there. That alone can cause some kind of trauma for him. So I don't really know whether to the extent to which the police beat him. But whatever it is, I don't think it was necessary because you have already arrested the person. Anytime these issues come up, the police say that if you are, they can use minimum force
that's
or whatever.
if you resist arrest.
But that is if you resist arrest.
That's if you resist arrest.
And there is no indication that this young man resisted arrest in any way. He was not armed. And he was not, I don't think at the time that he was arrested, he posed any threat to anybody. So as to why he was subjected to any form of brutality is what I don't understand. And, you know, we live in a society where so many people, including myself sitting here, don't know what can cause or what can trigger a heart attack. So if the people he's living with, the community, they know that this is a healthy young man. He has no history of any heart disease. So definitely if you come to say that he died out of heart attack, I don't think they will accept it in good faith. So I think that the autopsy, maybe they should have taken steps to explain it. Maybe just explain what are some of the causes that it could be that it was a shock, whatever. And the police, in fact, I don't know. It is their integrity that they are destroying. Every time, how many times do we have to come and condemn the police for engaging in one form of brutality or the other? And they're looking at the situation. I don't think that it was also, once they should have anticipated the way the people were going to react.
Okay.
And shouldn't have met them with that kind of force. You have so many policemen in Kumasi. You could have, I think, brought enough men to the place to ensure that there's calm, instead of rather attacking the people. I don't know the extent to which the youth came as the police, but I think that looking at the situation where people already suspected that you have beaten our colleague to death, no Ghanaian will take death lightly.
Okay. All right. What do you think should be the next line of action?
Wow. Well, I think the police is a structured institution, and if indeed the police say that they are not hiding anything, they should bring who the culprits are to book. It's as simple as that. If you beat somebody and a person dies, whatever it is, manslaughter, murder, the lawyers will tell us, whatever it is as a consequence of your beating. Maybe not directly linked, but the person died after you beat the person.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
So something has happened, and disciplinary measures.
Okay, so in other words, I mean, we can put the reports aside and look at who was responsible for the beating. That's
well,
what
I
you
have
think
made that point, that whether postmortem says yes or no, did you beat?
Yes.
And did you have to?
Okay.
And as Barbara was saying, look, the person came with no arms. He did not resist. And the police themselves have not said that he resisted arrest. So they should be disciplined.
Okay. And the family, because, I mean, the initial reaction, I don't think they will refute it because, I mean, obviously there's a lot of police presence there. What would you expect the family to do next?
I expect that the family should go and make a case out of it. They should seek legal counsel. And the police should apologize to the family and the society. The police are there to protect us. We must feel secure when they are around us. We should not feel intimidated. As soon as you see a policeman, the temptation is to start running, even whether you've done something or not, because of the way they handle you. We have gone beyond this old style of doing things. They are our friends. They should create a new image of safety, so that we trust them, that if a police comes to me, I should feel confident that he's coming to support me, not to apprehend me. There's a small a line on your windscreen, and he wants to arrest you for it. You don't have your license on you. He wants to take you to the MTTU. So anytime you see the police, your heart starts to beat. But that is not my idea of what the Constitution says. So for this particular instance, there was another guy, Mekankam, around the time that Asamoah Boateng was apprehended. They went to shoot this tear gas.
Okay.
And he also died from that. The tear gas affected him. You need to stop these provocative activities, the police, so that we don't endanger the lives of the citizens. And they must clean up their image, to be quite honest. Okay. And they must apologize to the youth and to the family. Okay. Then you come and you are antagonizing me again and beating me up and all that. I don't think that is how the Constitution speaks about the police.
In fact, there are even levels of, you know, dispersing crowds. I mean, they start, I think, with the warning, then they do the spraying, they can spray water. So the tear gas is actually supposed to be like one of the last, and then they use the rubber bullets if it gets really violent, then they use the rubber bullets. For some, they hold the view that there is certainly impatience on the part of the police. Where do you put that? Is it training?
I don't think so. I don't think it's as a result of training. I think that it is maybe the police
individual traits.
I think so, because I've encountered so many policemen who are not that who don't be like she was saying. Even if a policeman arrests you, we have different the way they treat you. Sure. I mean, some of them will just come talking to you anyhow. Others will come and, oh, madam, can you give me this and that? So the way they talk alone tells you that it is an individual. But this one is collective anyway. And so it is very, very important that the police, you know, it's very, very difficult for somebody to accept, even if it wasn't the police, it was an individual who beat their relative to death. I don't think they were going to take it lightly, let alone the police that is supposed to protect us. And so I think that the police must be very careful about the way they are handling this issue. Okay. If it is the Krofrom that we know, they will never just let it go like that. Okay. And so if they are going to continue this way, then I don't know where it's going to get.
Just final one, even before we move on. Actually, it talks about, you know, treatment depending on who. I was driving down the Ebri Hills and there's a barrier there. A policeman stops me and says I should pull up, and I said, oh, is there a problem? He asked why I'm asking him that. Yeah. And I said, I mean, why shouldn't I? Then he sees me and says, oh, it's you. And I said, okay, so if it's not me and somebody else, how will he treat that person? Yeah. Also a very good example, last night, a friend's ex-boyfriend beat him up. The girl goes to the Osu police station. I hope the Osu commander takes this very seriously. Goes to the police station, mentions the guy's name and says, oh, he's our friend.
Hey.
I mean, how does the police do that? They are the people who are destroying the image of the police, Mr. Mensah.
No, I didn't beat her.
I'm just trying to get your thoughts on, you know, such you know, selective way of dealing with issues. That is continuing to further deepen the perception.
We are a relationship-based society, and so the things that account for our positive attributes as a country are the same things that threaten our progress. And so, oh, something happens and I say, oh, Lance, oh, okay, I know Barbara, let me call her. And then Barbara says, oh, he's my friend. This is how we have lived. But when it comes to things that bring the country backwards, I think that we can sacrifice this relationship thing. You know, wrong is wrong. Yeah. You know, nothing makes it right. So if we want but you pose the question, what really is wrong with the police? And I think it's training. Okay. I think it's training, because you see, the police collecting people with various character traits together, and you want to shape all of them into a disciplined institution. You understand? Look, if you have a military general, you get into a room with 10 military generals from different countries, from different cultures, you can be sure that they will conduct themselves in the same way because of the culture of discipline. And so, forget about where you have come from. The police is supposed to be a disciplined institution. So training is the way to go. Because you see, if you leave them on their own, they will do dangerous things that you can never think about.
Okay, so there should be like an interim, you know, continuous training, as you put it.
They shouldn't leave them. You can't leave them. Yeah. Because somebody, that's why in the past, in the 80s and in the 90s, when somebody owes you, you go to police and take them to go and collect your money for you, or take military, go and collect your money. But we've gone beyond that stage. So the police should be more disciplined. And you can't just tell them to be disciplined. You have to train them.
It's a culture.
Yes, it has to be a culture. Yeah. And so the investment in the police should be seen as adding more value by continuously training them. That's the only way that they can. Look, somebody was saying the other time that, look, you said they should use water. but the water is not flowing.
Oh no, I think no. This is the truck. They have enough water in it.
But there's no fuel in the truck.
They walk about with
Is somebody going to be held responsible for this? Somebody has died.
That's why you advise that the family seek counsel, which I think is good.
And the police themselves, for their own image, must determine who caused the man's death, or if it's a number of people. They know, and that person must be sanctioned. It's not about friendship.
Where they could be together. You know, when you go to the police station, there could be one.
I even wonder why the police as an institution would even be tempted to cover up.
The police will not.
It does not make you look good in it.
No, but Mr. Mensah, I have to make this.
No,
the police will not cover up.
Yes. I'm just saying that I would wonder why they would do that. If
the people who will cover up may not be from the big people. Maybe that police station where they are, those who were on duty
are
their own police, my sister.
Yes, but when you go and give accounts, I mean, it happened that there's somebody at TV3 who she was sitting in her car with a boyfriend. The policeman got there and said, "You're having sex." She wasn't, and she said in front of her own house. They dragged her out. No, because these things happen, and these are real examples. The policemen went and they met the police intelligence and professionals, and they lied. Right? They all lied, but they got the truth. So that's why I think that if you say they should seek counsel, they should go through the training.
But the police themselves too, as a nation, we have to call a spade a spade. When you do something that is not right, you know it. This issue, let us not cover up about it. Somebody has gone and killed this young man. Let us call a spade a spade. Whoever has done it is supposed to secure us.
Okay.
So that person must be apprehended so that it doesn't happen again. So that it doesn't happen again, because it could happen to me or you or your son. No. It's because it's somebody's son we're able to speak about it dispassionately. But imagine if it was your own, how you would feel. A young man in his 30s, I'm going to the 20s, goes out to the toilet, and that is it. He dies at the hands of people who are supposed to keep us safe. Please, let us not push things under the carpet.
I think
raise the bar with the police and all
autopsy argument should not be overplayed.
Okay. All right. We should
if your car knocks somebody and the person dies, and an autopsy says that he died of heart attack
or internal bleeding,
what are you talking about? Did your car knock him or not?
Did he die as a result of? Did he get a heart attack as a result of the car knocking him?
That's
what this is about. Yeah. That's why everybody.
It's important that they explain.
In fact, I don't even know why we keep saying heart attack. Because what they actually said was congestive heart failure. I don't know whether it's the same as heart attack.
It's because you don't know.
Like when you can't breathe.
Yeah. So for me, in my lay mind, something must have caused it.
Definitely. I was trying to recall the example that happened in the US when the police officers held a man down, and the autopsy report actually said the man died of a heart attack. But the video showed the police had held him down, pinned him down, he couldn't breathe, and he died. So I know the Ghana police.
I don't know whoever died that his heart did not fail first. You should give us a break.
I know there are some really good genuine police officers out there, and especially the senior people. I hope that they take this up and do further investigations. And we know that DCO Kofi Boakye also has a good reputation. I'll probably look into that as well. We'll have to move on now to the Daily Graphic story that says the allowances must be taxed. They are income. Allowances must be taxed. They are income. And that's the Setekpe Minister of Finance saying that. Even before I read, there are some places I want to just draw from. There's this perception that institutions, because they don't want to pay a lot of taxes, they put a lot of money in allowances and the like, so their employees end up getting more, and it's a strategy they use. Is that to escape tax? Is that what it is, Mr. Mensah?
It used to be, but allowances are actually taxed. I know that allowances are taxed, maybe not with the same rates as your regular income. And so if the government wants to look at taxing allowance, I don't think it's anything new. In fact, yesterday, as I watched Setekpe deliver it at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Where I jumped out of my seat was the threat of taxing pensions. Pension? You want to tax the 200 cedis pension that a 70-year, 80-year-old person takes? You want to tax it? the social questions that come with it. What happened to social protection of the vulnerable? I mean, earnings should be taxed. I am not thinking that pensions are earnings.
Okay.
Yeah, you can call it revenue, but I don't think that they had to go and work to earn. They
Is
are
the results
retired.
of
They are retired. And so if you look at it that way, then I think that we are stretching it too far, because it's just a token. It's actually a token.
Okay.
So if you go and tax pensions, I think for me that's where my challenge is.
Okay. All right. Let me just read just a bit of it here. It says, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Tekwe, has justified the introduction of the new income tax, saying that it is not a tax measure in isolation, but it incorporates incentives. He said tax incentives became a key element when the revenue modernization program was launched in 2009. And touching on why allowances needed to be taxed, Mr. Tekwe said that yes, allowances must be taxed, they are income. Explaining why all forms of incomes attracted tax, he said incomes need definitions broadly, or else there's a tendency for government or the law to tempt one to put money in place of not attracting tax. Is there confusion in your mind when it comes to what can be taxed, what cannot be taxed, Madam?
This is a country where I would say about 90 to 95% of the people are poor. The number of people living below the breadline, it's something. And we need to support everybody to come up to speed. And a government that talks about being social democrats, coming for these poor people, has taxed everything, even the air we breathe. Condoms, cutlasses.
Ouch.
Look, I was doing some research. From 2001 to 8, tax revenue, 15.2 billion Ghana cedis. Billion. From 2009 to 15, 72.3 billion tax has been accrued.
Yeah, again.
You go to ECG, government tax, energy tax 10%. You go to service charge, ECG,
Sure.
7%, 7 cedis. Distribution line, 5 cedis. Street light, 1 cedi. Rural electrification, 50 pesos. If you buy credit for your meter, 20 Ghana, that means about 14.50 pesos has gone to all these taxes. And what you are getting, this poor Ghanaian who is selling cocoa, is 5 cedis. Then you go to do your pension, they will tax it. Now treasury bills, they will tax it.
He mentioned treasury bills as well.
People who bring in foreign money, if it's more than a certain, is it 10,000? You have a problem. You go to the ports, taxes. All these toll tax, it has been increased. If you talk on your phone, talk tax. Everything. This government is the one, since Kwame Nkrumah, who has had the most revenue from tax. Are you going to tax our life too?
Okay.
To be a Ghanaian is this expensive, 72.3 billion. Meanwhile, the revenue you are getting from cocoa alone for 2009 to 15 is 17.1 billion. This is the only government that has had the benefit of oil revenue.
Okay.
4.2 billion.
Just a quick one.
What are we doing with the money that we have to tax our lives out of this country?
Okay, I think we interviewed the Mauritius Foreign Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and he mentioned that when Mauritius was starting, the tax I think was around 85%, and then that's how they started. And then when it got to a point that the economy was good, they stopped taxing.
85% of what?
Salaries.
No, that's not true.
It cannot be.
We interviewed him.
No, that's never true.
Salaries.
So that's how they start. Now they don't.
You cannot tax anybody 85%.
How would they live?
Never ever.
Can be.
It's not
realistic.
possible. 85%
It's not realistic.
tax in no way.
Maybe not in Ghana, but in Mauritius they did that.
On this
just it was even for you. It was even for you. Just to stabilize the system, and then we can continue.
Overburdened. Yes, you must get revenue from tax, but you must be creative as a government so that you don't just use tax to make money. You don't just use tax and you don't overburden the people. It's like you are stealing from the people when you bring out all these taxes. How can you tax pensions? How can you tax treasury bill? The whole idea of it is that you're going to keep it. You're going to keep it to get interest. Then the interest is going to be taxed. You might as well put it under your pillow. The government is overburdening us, and it will increase crime. And people are going to be even more disillusioned because already, things are not going well.
Thank you, Madam Otsi.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm on the same score, the same question I posed.
In Madam Otiko's quest to paint the government
No, please, please.
She even forgot.
Please, this is propaganda. It's not about painting the government black.
You see, when you
we are talking about
development.
She was quiet. Yes, but I am here.
But you even made a claim that 90% of the people are poor. I didn't.
I am here.
So you didn't mean substantiate.
No, I'm saying that in your question.
I allowed you.
Thank you.
To paint the government or to create the impression that all government is interested in is to overburden the citizenry with tax. You even forgot that the top tax you are talking about was not introduced by this government.
Has it not been?
That is what you forgot. That was your own government. That tax. No. You didn't talk about increase. You said even the top we talk. We are taxing.
Because it has
but you
increased.
forgot that it was your own government that brought top tax.
Yes, and it has been increased.
Of course, once you see, and then when we are talking, I don't know much about economics, so I don't want to go inside. But let's talk about we are in a country where anytime tax issues come up, people say, widen the tax net. Don't tax the few. And it's very true that very few people pay taxes. If you look at the number of people, I have worked as a private practitioner before I came into government. If you look at the number of people who pay taxes in Ghana, it may be true that whatever percentage of the poor people in Ghana, but I can assure you that very few people pay taxes in this country. So if you talk about widening the tax net, I agree. We need to look at it, but there's no country that doesn't tax income.
But they are looking at, living standards.
That is the point. So that is why even I think there's a cap where if you earn below a certain threshold, you are not taxed because they take into consideration the living standard and all those things. But if it is necessary that somebody must pay tax on income, the person must pay tax. How would the government, how innovative can a government be if the government decides that people, we are going to, I agree if you say that we don't take tax on people who are not making much, but not at least people who are making enough to be able to pay taxes. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know, as I said, I don't know much about these things because when it comes to
just a quick one on the point about widening the tax nets. And I think I've asked this question one too many, but one that actually comes to mind is, for instance, when you talk about movie producers and actors, they earn so much, but they take it directly from the producer. They don't pay tax.
That's the point, because
so
they
how
take
do you
they take it directly from the producers. They call it cash in hand or something. It is difficult for government to even know how much the person is taking and to be able to. But I think those are some of the areas. Those are some of the areas that we should be looking at. If we can put measures in place to ensure that people's income goes through a channel that could be taxed. Otherwise, if you are paying the person on the table and the tax must be deducted on the table, it should be done. But for us to look at very few people who are paying the tax, and every time we are talking about tax, it is the same people, I don't think it is right.
But what
it is important that but if, for me, I know that for income, you have to pay tax. Even, do you know that you have to pay tax on gifts?
Yeah, I mean, it happened to David Cameron, who didn't pay tax on a gift, £200,000 gift that his mother gave him.
Elsewhere, people are very particular about it. If you don't pay gift tax, you can be in trouble, like you are talking about. And so there are so many, but we live in a country where it's like everything that we do, we bring politics inside, and then we try to create the impression that I don't think there's any government, especially NDC government, that's a social democratic government, would deliberately put taxes on the people to impoverish them, what will you get if you end up impoverishing your own people? But it is very, very important that government makes some money out of the taxes. Once you earn income, you must be willing to pay tax. I don't think that if somebody goes to sell his cassava or granules on the market, anybody will ask the person to pay tax on it. But if you have to pay some toll,
they pay for where they sit.
They do pay for where you have to pay some toll.
Sure, toll.
There's a difference between tax
I get what you
and
mean,
all those
indirect.
things. You understand? If you have to pay a little toll for the person who is coming to clean the market after you have left, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Okay, but when you talk about, I mean, there was a question that just came in, but just a quick one on, the tax is meant to do something. For instance, I mean, if I'm paying it and my road is good, I don't think that they will complain so much.
That is the
if I'm paying it and I have a good school or hospital, I won't complain so much.
That is the point.
Maybe
so
people see it as slow.
I will be more interested in Ghanaians being very proactive in knowing what their taxes are used for. And so if the people are satisfied that their taxes are being put to good use, they may not feel it as much as if they don't see. But I can assure you that it is there are evidence all over the place that this government is putting the taxpayers' money to good use. If you go to some other countries, if they are building roads, they put a sign there. This is your tax. Maybe I think it's time that Ghana will start doing some of these things so that people will appreciate what government uses their tax for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick one. Mr. Samantha, the thing is, what
Barbara started by saying that he's not an economist,
I know.
I can bear with her because you see, she will have a hard time defending what's going on, and this is the heart of a mother who is thinking, okay, we mean well, but people are not seeing through this way.
Yeah.
Last week,
yeah.
I was in Kede.
Okay.
Now, moving from Bwedia to Kede, you come to the toll booth,
Bwedia to Kede.
Yeah, just a short distance,
Yeah.
like a twin town. And it's a pity looking at the structure in which the people sit to collect the money, the levies.
What kind of toll was it?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Because I don't think it's a road toll.
No, it's been there since I was a kid. So really, I don't know. But they take the toll. When you get to the bridge, they take the toll. Now, I asked myself this question. So what do they use the money for? Just an ordinary question. Like you're saying.
This is what we need to know.
So it's not, we can discuss taxes, but it goes beyond taxes. It's taxes and levies. If I get out of my house, I'm paying levy on the road I use. And the road is designed with potholes. When I pay my electricity bill, I'm paying levies on street lights. Street lights are off. When I move, I am paying, very soon, I'm sure some government is coming to introduce congestion charges like we did in London years ago. Because expanding the tax net by itself doesn't mean rate taxing people, people. Because see, we are the consumer and we feel it. It looks like it is now becoming a disincentive for you to become a law-abiding citizen as far as taxes are concerned. You see, that is the problem. Like she said, look, I organize events, and these artists, when you pay them their money and you want to take withholding tax, they don't understand.
Why?
They do not understand. They will not understand. And I can mention
And
names.
you also allow them to take it.
No, I'm just saying that I have had to, in certain cases, pay on their behalf. Pay on their behalf because I just, no any problem. But I'm just saying that we need to do more education. Get more people into the tax net. It's not rate taxing the very same people that are available and in a formal, structured working environment. Because there are people who have no clue what it means to be taxed. They have no clue.
If you're mentioning entertainers, for instance, who you think should know something,
no, they don't want to know.
No,
and the system is so relaxed that they will get away with anything. You see, that's the point. And that's why in the increased growth of taxes, people find ways to outwit the system. That's what you have. Go to the harbor ports and see. You bring a car, you don't pay car 20,000, you are paying. So people are now finding Kululu ways. I don't know whether that's still persistent, but it gives room for such things.
No, I don't understand what you are saying. Are you saying that people are not willing to pay the tax, or they don't know that they have to pay taxes?
That it is too much that they
it's
rather
both.
go.
No, it's both.
Go.
In certain sectors, it's both.
Yes, I'll come to you. Yes,
in certain
sectors,
yes.
it's both.
I mean, in the formal structured sector, you have no choice. You pay. But the informal sector, which accounts for a large percentage of our business activities, people are not paying. That's what it is.
All right. Yes, madam. Quick one on it, and then we can move on to another.
In a country where incomes largely, the person who is the employer is the government. So there you can get the taxes being paid. The rest of the masses who are not employed, how to tax them, yes, is a problem. But it is the responsibility of the government to design programs that will expand the economy, so that when the people are earning a certain amount of money and you tax them, they don't feel it as much. But where the poverty lines are huge, and then you come out to tax all these people, and it's, as you were saying, it's not just the taxes and the levies. That girl who is doing kaya in the market, she's levied, and as far as she's concerned, that is a form of a tax.
I get what you mean.
That's a form of a tax. When you sell pure water, there is a tax on it. When you're moving, all those road levies, they are all going to who? To that same government. And that is the problem, because if you are able to make 72+ billion from taxes, and we are not getting the value for money, then you are telling us that somebody is painting you black. What happened to the money that you, and it is not the tax that is being used for the infrastructure. It is the borrowings that is being used for the infrastructure. We know that.
Thank you.
What
It is a fact. And the other thing that I want us to say is this. When you are a government, you are to alleviate poverty, not to deepen the poverty of the people. And
but at some point you have to
do taxes, understanding the character of your people.
The results.
So where is the initiative of the government to reduce the burdens of these poor Ghanaians? That is a question we must ask ourselves. That woman who is selling kenke, and she's able to pay her whatever, her taxes and things, and then she goes to pay the road toll, and she's on a pothole road. Her son goes to die on that road. What are you saying?
Please,
this is
thank you.
She's about the development of the country.
Taxes just fell from the ceiling to Ghana when
please. Taxes when they are collected, why should they be used to pay for JIDA, SADA, and the RLG and all? That is where
you're going outside of the
Thank you very much. That is what our taxes are used for. And if you use those taxes for those things, then how will you then tell the people that it's okay to tax them? We cannot overburdening the people. We are overburdening the people as a government. And I believe that governance...
Oh, Madam Osiko, please.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to talk to the public. Thank you very much.
All right.
I would like to apologize shortly for the break. The break, we just experienced a bit of a hitch in the studio, but we'll continue with the discussion. You have 10 seconds just to wrap up.
Yes, to land.
Yes.
Governance must be meaningful to people. If you are taxing us, tell us where the taxes are going. If the taxes are overburdening the people will talk about it. You cannot tax allowances like that after you have collected over 72 billion. But governance must not overburden the people.
It is that
and if you want to
one moment, just a question.
Can I land? You ask me to continue. You've given me 10 seconds.
Made a point.
I'm in midstream. Then you say you are cutting
the question I'm asking,
so
means that you
I'm
get
in
more
mid-thought.
It means you will get more time. Don't worry. You get more time.
I might lose my train of thought.
But you made a point. You see, you made a point because you're also speaking to people outside.
Exactly.
Yes. So you I was just coming to that same rhetoric you're making about taxing the people. That's why people also feel a certain way that it's just wrong to be taxed? Because you keep making the point that, so is it wrong to tax?
the
Is that
point.
what
No,
you're
I'm
saying?
not saying that it is wrong
the
to
point. You
tax.
keep
I'm
hitting on
saying
that.
that it is not fair to the people to overburden them. Especially, we are already being taxed on all sorts of things. Then you come to introduce this new term on allowances. When I've told you that energy tax is 10%, the service charge, 7 cedis, distribution line,
Thank
5
you,
cedis.
madam. I think
So
your
you
point
are
is well
increasing.
You get
There
that
should
in
be
enough
creative
time.
ways
You have to give
of
me enough time.
making money and expanding the economy.
it is
Not
thank
just
you.
using
it's
taxes.
very, very interesting the way Madam Otiko is talking this morning. Who is she talking for? Is she talking for the ordinary Ghanaian or not? Because at one point in time, the woman who is selling kenke, who is she receiving allowances from? Does she receive allowance from
separated them.
At one point in time, she is talking about KIAs and women who
But are they
selling
not all
kenke.
part of the
At the same time,
citizenship of
talking
Ghana?
about the people who are getting allowances. And what we have to understand is that, so far as I'm concerned, so far as the law is concerned, this is not the first time allowances are being taxed. This is not the first time. You understand? Allowances is part of the income you make, and you have to pay taxes on it. And so we must differentiate. And you see, the most interesting part of this whole argument is that I think that, like they say, experience is the best teacher. The way she was able to show where the tax monies go into JIDA, into I want to know, is that what their government was doing? Because so far as NDC government, we don't put taxes into things that don't benefit Ghanaians.
JIDA benefits Ghanaians.
JIDA doesn't benefit Ghanaians.
SADA
doesn't
go and you take so much money that you are supposed to use for guinea fowls, and it doesn't.
Ghanaians.
You know, is the corruption involved in it?
No.
If you are using that amount
doesn't
of
benefit
money,
Ghanaians.
if you are supposed
JIDA
to,
doesn't benefit
SADA has
Ghanaians.
made the people of Ghana sadder indeed.
Madam.
It has.
Madam Otiko.
The corruption involved
Anyway.
is what we are talking about, and you know it.
What is
see, we are
corruption?
done,
You have started the way
Please,
you
just
song
stay on
again.
track,
Instead
stay on
of
track,
you
stay on track.
talking about, we are sitting here, and when the CEO was talking, he was talking about the importance of educating Ghanaians to understand what we use our tax money for. And so if you create the impression, meanwhile, you want to come into government, that all government does, mind you, it is not.
Maybe when they come, if they
They-
come, they will
they-
withdraw the taxes.
When?
That is what I was saying.
No, I don't know whether
You're not
it's-
being fair. You're not being
No, but that is why if they don't,
Yeah, I
if
don't
they
think
don't.
she said that taxing is wrong.
No,
So,
but so
the
please,
posters
I think
shouldn't
I
be
have
like that.
okay.
No,
you
no,
go
I'm
ahead.
No,
not
go
sorry.
ahead. When you finish.
I was just addressing Bridget's
Okay.
point. But
You understand?
please,
If you
sorry.
create the impression,
No,
as
for her.
yeah, for
She's speaking for the government. She
Of
wants
course,
to
but
defend
you-
the indefensible.
No,
You
what
can't.
is indefensible?
72
Paying
plus
taxes-
billion.
paying
There's nothing wrong with paying taxes, but you must be able to tell the people where those taxes
I
are
don't have
going.
any problem with you if
You
say
must
we
be able to do that.
show what you use the
72 point
taxes for.
something
that I
billion,
go for, but don't create
please.
the impression.
Madam,
as if
It's not an impression, it's the way people feel in this country.
The tax
No,
Nobody
Go
can
to the
hear both of
streets.
you. I'll have to go on a break.
Go
Madam,
to the streets
Madam
and
Otiko,
ask the
Madam
people.
Otiko, you know, normally when you're talking, she's quiet. Honestly, she doesn't
I am
talk.
quiet now.
She doesn't talk.
No, but
honestly,
it
to
doesn't
be
help
quite honest.
anybody.
I know.
You know,
Nobody
we
even
are
hears
building
anything.
a nation.
Yes.
And so if you always create the impression as if some government is collecting taxes from the citizens, it's bad, and all that government is interested in is taking. It is not correct. You understand? And then, like, she misses the things up. You don't even know what all that she's trying, the impression she's interested
But
in.
what do you want to say? So you stay on your
What
point
I'm
about
trying
what
to
you
say
think,
is that
you know, would
it is
help.
very important
Sure.
that as citizens we pay taxes. It's very, very important. If we are asking government what you use our taxes for, it's a different issue, and it is a legitimate question for every Ghanaian to know what government uses your tax for. But as for paying tax, we shouldn't miss the two issues. No matter what, so far as you are earning some income, that is why every system.
But will you admit that it's also slow, you know, on government when you talk about, you know, winding the tax, taxing the people who are outside
we are
of the
developing nation. We are building our system. It is very, very important that we build the system, and it's part of the education, sensitization, and putting in place strong institutions are all part of the building process. If you are able to put in place strong institutions, if Electricity Corporation is able to pay its taxes, collect its revenue on time, and all those things will mean putting in place strong institutions. If you are not able to do that, how are you going to be able to get the perfect Ghana that you want to? So if you keep creating the impression that it is not necessary for government to take taxes, or if it's not even important for you to pay taxes, it is wrong. You understand? Because one day your
Points
government
well
will
made.
come
Points
into
well
power
made.
and you will need those taxes.
The point well made. I think Samens was making that point as well, that it's not like she's against
I didn't say that.
taxing. And,
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but no, but are you saying you don't? I mean, from the way the NPP is campaigning, there's a certain posture that I think I've even heard Nana say, I would withdraw, I would something to killer taxes.
Is
it a new tax? No, he said no. I want to get the exact words. No, but he's I would. I think I would. No, I would withdraw killer taxes. That's what the headline, I think.
Well, I don't know about that. So, I mean, I've heard them. Now, you see, nobody, no citizen is happy to be taxed and re-taxed the world over. And most of us here have lived in other countries. And the pain of having to wake up every morning and hearing of a new tax. I mean, I was in the UK when congestion tax started.
Was introduced.
Yes. So taxing is not a favorable thing to the citizen in terms of taking money from your pocket and paying more.
Sure.
Now, there are European countries where people pay up to 50% of their earnings to the tax man, and yet people do not complain because there are visible properties of what the tax money is used for. I've always said that Ghana is the only country where you have solar-generated, solar-powered street lights that go off in the night. And nobody understands. So I think that the burden is being increased on the citizenry, not just a matter of government wanting to impoverish people.
Sure.
But I think that we overlook the inefficiencies in the system. And the inefficiencies, Otiko, will not rest only with the politicians. It starts from the base. And I think that we are so in a hurry to add on to the taxes instead of taking the difficult option of solving the widening of the tax net.
Yeah.
Because the revenues that are collected in all these places, at times you actually wonder what happens. Because look, we take the road tolls for maintenance of the roads, and yet anytime there's a major maintenance, the announcement is that we just got some funding from a certain country, from a certain organization to do this road. Meanwhile, in our very own eyes, we've been paying little. So you see, I'm at a loss when it comes. The whole equation for me is no more reasonable because you are taking the money, we are not seeing what it is. We also know others who don't pay by the nature of their work, and they are enjoying. And the very people that you take from them, every day you are increasing it, people will complain. And that is a natural reaction to what we see. Businesses are suffering because of taxes and levies.
All right, you have to wrap up.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Actually, we've run out of time, and so I would have to thank all of you. Yes, you see how time flies when you're enjoying so much. Yes, I know, right?
So
my apologies.
Only
two topics. Yes, I know. Don't worry. Some other time. Okay. But no, Alote Jacobs dragged to FBI over USA trip. But when you read the story, it says that may soon be dragged before the FBI. So another time, maybe some other time, honestly. And my producers didn't select that story. Oh, they did. They penned it. But anyway, we didn't have time to discuss it. On Twitter. No, unfortunately. Ajay Bryce says that you see how at times females panels are difficult. You're doing a good job.
No, I want to say hello to Alote Jacobs.
Yes, he's around.
No, he's a big man, Charlie.
So let me say a big
thank
you
for him.
Mr. Samuel Ashemensa is the CEO of City FM. Yeah. Madam Otiko Afisa Jabba is a women's organizer for the New Patriotic Party. Thank you very much. And Deputy Minister Lands and Natural Resources, Barbara Sewa Asamoah. Thank you also very much for joining us. Thank you for watching. I know I've seen lots of your comments, and a lot of you are actually talking about the police service. We'll read them a bit later on. But good morning to you.